Puppies. Well, we could talk about puppies. I was thinking more about the design capability of organizations and how
Oh
we
yeah,
might
that too.
enhance that. What is the UX tipping point, and how do we help companies to get there?
The UX tipping point is that moment in an organization when the user experience is seen as important, if not more important, than whether something technically works and whether it meets the business requirements. So it's this idea, right? In a lot of organizations, if something doesn't technically work, they won't ship it. But if it technically works, but it doesn't meet the business requirements, they still won't ship it. But if it technically works and it meets the business requirements, but it's not designed well or even close to well, they'll ship it anyways. And they'll just say, well, we'll fix it in the next release, which for many years I think was Microsoft's tagline. And but the UX tipping point is when an organization finally says, no, we're not gonna ship something that isn't well designed. That's against our brand. That's against what we stand for. That's against everything we do. So we're only going to ship things that are well designed, and that's the tipping point, right? When we get the organization to move to that point, then that changes the game across the board, because we no longer have to fight for who we are and what we do. We are now in this place where we are capable of making sure. Now, to get to that moment, we have to do a damn good job because the company doesn't like not shipping something. So we have to be. It has to be a rare occasion that happens, and we have to have our as we in America say, we have to have our ducks in a row, which I don't understand because if you see ducks, they walk in a line, in a column, not in a row. A row would be this head-on duck brigade that would just be scary.
And clearly they didn't know about spreadsheets, whoever came up with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand why we talk about ducks in a row, though I just did talk about ducks in a row.
Well, if we can suspend our disbelief about the poor structure of that saying for a moment, how do we get our ducks in a row if they're not in a row already?
I think you pick them up and you line them up.
I see how this conversation is going to be.
It's a lot of work. It's a big, hairy, audacious goal to get to this idea that the organization understands it. We have to refine our techniques. We have to up our skills. We have to get the people we work with to be more skilled. We have to be able to make sure they understand why we do what we do. It's not impossible, but in many cases you have to change the hiring practices in the organization. You have to change a lot of elements about the culture. So we're talking years.